Beijing, 1998. The world was simpler, quieter. And under a fading sunset, Li Wei, played by Tong Liya, sat by the old theater window, sketching a man she could never forget. That man was Jerry Yan, a rising actor who loved her in a way that defied time and reason. He was confident, yet broken inside, a man the world admired but few truly knew. Their love was passionate but hidden. In the public eye, Jianyu was untouchable, a star whose smile could light up the screen. But behind closed doors, he was simply a man who wanted to hold her hand without fear. Li Wei's world revolved around him. She would sneak into film sets, wait behind stage curtains, just to catch a glimpse of him saying lines that were once meant for her alone. But love in the spotlight is never safe. Rumors spread, scripts were rewritten, and people whispered. When the scandal broke, Jianyu had a choice, his career or her heart. He chose silence. The night he left, it rained for hours. Li Wei stood in the doorway, clutching the necklace he'd given her, a tiny silver pendant shaped like a moon. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "If we're meant to meet again, time will find us." And just like that, he disappeared into the storm. She waited. For years. Until waiting became a habit, and hope became her only language. Seoul, 2024. Han So-ra, played by Moon Jae-young, was an art student known for her calm eyes and lonely aura. She often dreamed of places she'd never been, an old theater, a silver pendant, a man smiling through rain. One day, she walked into a quiet bookstore tucked between two old cafes. That's where she met Seo Jun, Cha Eun-woo. He was browsing through an old photography book titled Love and Time. Their eyes met, and the world stopped moving. There was something unexplainable about the moment, as if they had lived it before. "Do I know you?" she asked softly. "Maybe in another lifetime," he smiled. From that day, something invisible pulled them closer. They studied together, laughed over late-night coffee, and shared stories about dreams that didn't belong to them. So-ra told him about her recurring dream, the man in the rain, the silver pendant, the promise. And when she described the face she saw, it looked eerily like him. One evening, So-ra and Seo Jun visited an abandoned theater, a spot she'd always been drawn to, even without knowing why. Inside, the dust shimmered in the air like fragments of the past. She walked toward the stage and found something glinting under the seats, a silver pendant shaped like a moon. Her hands trembled. "This can't be real," she whispered. Seo Jun froze, because he felt it too. An ache deep in his chest, a memory surfacing like a forgotten melody. Suddenly, he saw flashes, a woman crying, a man walking away in the rain, words he'd never said but somehow remembered. He fell to his knees, clutching his chest, whispering, "Li Wei, I promised I'd come back." So-ra gasped. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "Jianyu." The past had returned, not through memory, but through their souls. They were the same lovers, reborn under different skies. But fate is never kind twice. After that night, So-ra began to fall ill. Doctors said it was stress, exhaustion, but Seo Jun knew better. Each day, she became weaker, as if time itself was pulling her back to where she once belonged. One night, as snow fell outside her hospital window, she whispered, "Maybe our story was never meant to end here." He held her hand tightly, tears falling silently. "Then let me write a new one where we both survive." But time once again had already decided otherwise. Seo Jun found a series of letters in her sketchbook, written in calligraphy that wasn't hers. The handwriting matched Li Wei's, the woman from 1998. The letters spoke of regret, of waiting, of a love that never died. The last one read, "If my soul ever returns, let it find yours, even if we forget our names." He realized then love had found a way. It had crossed decades, oceans, and lifetimes, only to meet the same heartbreak again. Still, he smiled through the pain, because meeting her, even just once more, was worth every moment of waiting. A year later, So-ra passed quietly in her sleep. The world went on, But for Seo Jun, time stopped again. He traveled to Beijing, to the same old theater that started it all. The building was being torn down, but he slipped inside one last time. There, on the cracked stage, he placed the silver pendant under the spotlight. "I kept my promise," he whispered. "I found you again." He smiled faintly as the dust glowed like stars around him. And for a moment, just a heartbeat, he saw her standing in front of him. Not as Soare, not as Li Wei, but as the woman his soul had loved through every life. She smiled, reaching out her hand. "You came back. I always will." And as he took her hand, the world turned to light. A young photographer named Hannah walks into a gallery and stops at a black and white photo of two lovers on a stage. The caption reads, "Echoes of our hearts, found in an abandoned theater, Seoul." Next to her, a stranger, with a face that looked familiar, like a dream, smiled softly. "Feels like I've seen them before," he said. "Yeah," she replied, smiling back. "Maybe they were us." And for a second, their hands brushed, a spark flickering in the air. The cycle had begun again. Love had returned. Because true love never ends. It simply waits for another lifetime to be found.